Actually, not many people are watching. Hey, how's it going, everybody? We're live. We're here.
And here we go.
Mamma mia.
Mamma mia.
We're here with a spicy take, the Bookshelf Stud, my Maester Monthly co-host. Michael, how you doing right now?
I'm all fired up. I had some caffeine and some alcohol, and so I'm ready to go. Basically a Four Loko. No, I'm doing really good.
Did you have a Jaeger bomb? Is that what you're telling me?
That's exactly what I'm telling you. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm doing great actually. How are you doing?
Well, I watched the episode and I thought it was awesome, and I was really happy with what I saw. And then my chat. I need to like pat all of your heads. It's like, it's okay, guys.
Yeah,
they came out firing. I mean, people have strong opinions. I think we can say that. Let's see here. B1 Mary's here. I see Mr. Mobius, Carl Karsnark. Bernie just showed up. Maester Mary showed up.
There we go.
Got the crew going. Got the band hammers going. Oh, I forgot. I gave Bernie a wrench. Ooh. Oh, I did that a while ago.
You know, I'm a mod on your chat too. Actually, I don't know if you remember doing that.
But I don't remember doing that.
I'm gonna ban everyone who didn't like the episode. That's what's gonna happen.
Will you say Dracarys every time you do it?
That's right. Absolutely. Yep.
Dracarys.
100%.
Helen O'Grady says she can't join. Came by to say hi. Hey.
What's up, Helen?
Thanks for coming by. Nice seeing you. Yeah, Michael can't ban you. He won't though.
I don't know how to ban people, so
he doesn't. YouTube's stupid. I do the Maester Monthly stuff for the most part.
Exactly. I've figured out by now how to like record an episode using YouTube, and that's about it. So
hey,
someday I'll get as good as ZombieJesus.
Well, I'm not that good. I'm still working on how to stop using Hangouts and start using other stuff. But anyway, we got a super chat here from Linda Prezuta. What do you think Euron is thinking now that Tyrion talked about Cersei's baby? That's not going to be an easy discussion he's going to have with Euron. I actually thought about that. I was waiting for Lena Headey to give him the side eye and Euron to be like, hey, why does he know?
Yeah, I was thinking that too. And on one hand, I think in the show, information travels off screen a lot pretty quickly. So I think there's a chance that it's now like public common knowledge that Cersei is pregnant with Euron's baby, because presumably some time has passed. Like maybe,
I don't know.
But I was surprised too. I wonder if that's going to come up behind the scenes next time.
I definitely noticed that. That's actually a really clever way of them to. They introduced a lot of conflict on the side of the good guys in this episode.
Yeah.
Obviously, Dany and Jon, Sansa and Dany, actually basically everyone and Dany.
Yeah.
Even on the Starks, though, Jon had real problems. Tyrion and Varys were having issues. And they'd seem pretty like cohesive on the side of Cersei, but then Bronn leaves her service. And then Tyrion drops that in front of her, that he knows that Cersei's pregnant. If he's smart enough, he's going to question that. And he's crazy, but he is smart. So.
I mean, yeah, he's crazy like a fox, right? Like I think show Euron is becoming more similar to book Euron in a sense. Like he's just this wild card kind of like anything goes character. So yeah, I don't know. That's yeah.
That was interesting to see. Yeah, that was a good question there, Linda. So Sir Small Paul just showed up. Hey buddy, how's it going? So why don't we start, I think at the beginning, like 5-10 minutes, like, and like the whole party sequence, that got me right in the feels. When they were lighting up the bodies and they showed all of them blue and dead in the face, and all the characters like walking up to like say goodbye to them. That was kind of touching. Yeah,
I think it really, I don't know, for me that helped with a lot of the criticisms for the last episode were like, we didn't feel the loss of major characters. And it was like at the beginning of this episode, they were like, no, you're gonna feel it.
Yeah.
You're gonna feel it, you son of a gun. And they make you watch while everyone's sad.
Yeah. Sansa putting a little Stark thing in Theon's thing. I was like, Charles Lewis is asking, did we cry? I actually came close a few times.
I teared up a little bit.
I teared up at the Theon thing I just mentioned. That got me. I actually teared up did not cry at the moment where what was it? It was one of the Jaime and Brienne moments
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, those were some seriously emotional. Yeah, that relationship is so kind of real as opposed to the like very John and Danny's relationship is like very heightened and kind of not fantastic, but just like very. I feel like I'm watching the Royals or something. Like, these people are beyond me. But Brienne and Jamie are just like two very vulnerable, goofy people.
Oh yeah, you got a dog going on?
No, not a dog. My sister.
Oh, woof. The
Um,
bookshelf sister.
that's right.
The other thing that got me was actually the conversation between Sandor and Sansa.
Yeah, I'm so glad they finally. I know Chloe
Yeah.
Lizenarbor on Twitter has been like afraid that they would not have a conversation this season. I'm really glad they did. Sandor
They did, and
Sansa.
it was a really good one. And it was heartbreaking, not for Sandor's side, but because he finally realized that his little bird was not a little bird anymore. He kept calling her that name, but it was quite clear that what he had always liked about her, and I'm probably going to crib Chloe about this, is that she hadn't gone through such awful things, that she was kind of like a hope for like better things, and it turns out that she's turned out just as hard inside and as calculating and like aware of how awful the world is that Sandor is. And I feel like he's smiling for her, and I think he was happy that she had grown up, but I think he really missed that part of their relationship.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I see in the chat Muhammad Jamha saying I thought she was going to get intimate with the Hound. I kind of thought that too and was like,
yeah,
I don't want that to happen. Like please don't let it. Maybe in the books, maybe eventually, but I don't know. The Sand thing has always kind of weirded me out. I don't know. I know that's like I know that may be an unpopular opinion, but
that's not something I was about that life, but like I made a joke on Twitter like, wow, they're really going to repopulate the North in like one fucking night, aren't they?
Absolutely. Yeah. All the population is coming back.
One night, everything's coming back. Everybody's getting down, getting drunk, having like the biggest college party you've ever seen. It was actually reminded me of from the books, the Harvest Festival. Do you remember this? And they sang the night that ended, and basically the same thing happened. Everyone was like partying and throwing back drinks and hooking up. And I was like, oh.
It was so that's one of the. I know we haven't actually maybe laid out our opinions very seriously yet. I did really like, I would say 95% of this episode. This was one of my favorite parts because it was such a good medieval feast, like something out of the books. Like you have the power politics between the lord whose castle it is and the lady whose castle it is, and the queen who's there but doesn't have the like direct connections. That's my sister leaving. Bookshelf sister. Yeah. But yeah, the feast thing, I don't know. That was such a like engaging sequence. I think that was good.
It was human. It wasn't. I mean, it was a good mix because we spent the rest of the episode in the high politics, but before that, they make sure they grounded you in the moment and grounded you in the loss, and then the celebration, and that Gilly's pregnant again, and all these really human things that really, really hit you right in the gut. It's like, oh,
it really, this episode did what I wanted it to do in that sense, because what was exciting coming out of last week was like that we get to see what happens after the story is over. Like last week, the fantasy story ended, and now we get to see like, yeah, so and so got pregnant and they're gonna settle down, and these guys are gonna go back to the valley beyond the wall or whatever.
Yeah, they're going home. Gray Area showed up in the chat with a hot fucking take.
I see this.
Santa is a traitor. Change my mind.
Ooh, and Bernie with snitches get stitches. That's not the first time I've seen that either. Man, I feel bad that it was played the way it was with Sansa as like that was her role. I liked it though. I don't know. I
thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I mean, to a certain extent, like it reads to me like hating on Kat for releasing Jamie or something like that. Like it's not worth hating on the character for, because it's put together in a way that like maybe it does something bad for our characters, but it makes sense in the story, and it's like a powerful moment in of itself.
Grace coming in with the other hot take. She said in the Godswood though, it's soaring in front of the heart tree. Well, like the swearing for the heart tree is the same as swearing to Bran. So like, if he's cool with it, then like, so are the old gods.
Do you think Bran saw this coming? Like,
well, yeah, that was the point where Jon looked at him and he said, "It's your choice." So at that moment, Jon could have kept it to himself, and he could have not told anybody. Kept the secret between the four of them, I think. So it would have been Sam, Tyrion. No, Sam. I'm sorry. Sam, Bran, Dany, and Jon, and that would have been it. And Dany gave him a really clear choice to, you don't be king. We can still be together, but like, you don't have to do this. And Jon, that was his choice to tell Sansa. That was his choice to tell Arya, and that's sort of the problem with secrets. Nobody keeps secrets.
Secrets hurt someone. No, wait, what is it? Secrets are no fun. Secrets hurt someone.
They always get out. That's the reason Varys had a job. That's why he's called the Master of Whispers. Only Ned ever kept his secret for forever. And I actually think that was an interesting moment if you compare that to Ned with Ned kept Jon's secret, but Jon won't keep his own.
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up because this really does color some of what we know about Ned. And I really like that it the dishonor of Ned Stark wasn't that he sired a bastard, but was that he like lied to everyone he knew about this one thing for his entire life. And that's when you look at how Jon struggles with that, you go, oh my God, look at what Ned did. I think it's cool how that colors stuff from season 1, stuff from really early in the story.
Definitely. And I was last week I was on Girls Gone Canon with Eliana and Chloe, and we were talking about Jon 8 from A Game of Thrones, and the speech that Aemon told Jon, I feel like directly came up in this where it was like when it hang on, I got the quote. I put it on Twitter because I love it. I mean, of course I did.
I mean, do you not know all of Maester Aemon's dialogue just like by heart?
I just want to make sure I got it right. If the day should ever come when their Lord Father had to choose between honor on the one hand and his family on the other, what would he do? Well, Jon broke. He broke with Ned right there. Ned chose. Well, I'm not actually sure. Do you think Ned kept the secret for forever and it hurt his family? Jon could have done that too. So he chose to have a better relationship with his family, but I don't know.
It's really interesting because it seems like to a certain extent maybe that Jon is still somehow more idealistic than Ned, that he thinks he can have both his family and like that he can avoid having to choose. Whereas Ned chose. And I think that's like, to come back to that Aemon quote, like Jon is still, even 8 seasons later, still his tragic flaw is that he's trying to avoid that choice, which is exactly what he does in the books by sending Mance Rayder to Winterfell. Why he gets killed in the books. Because that's his flaw, is he can't choose between these things. So I think they captured that pretty well here.
Yeah, that moment was really laid out, and I wonder if that was Bran's like plan, where he was like, he basically set it in motion. Like we saw it during the first and the second episode. He's been leading it towards this, but it's clear that I don't think he knew what Jon was going to do in that moment. He put it back to Jon and said, "I gave you all the information to make an informed choice. What will you do with this?"
Absolutely, yeah.
Although he did send Sam to warn him about Dany. So it's like he gave him both sides of the choice. It's like, if you empower her, it may go this way, but you have the ability to maybe avoid whatever she may do.
Yeah. And that's why I think it was also interesting with the War Council, where after Jon, was that sorry, maybe I'm mixing it up. I haven't rewatched it yet. Was the War Council before or after Jon tells Sansa and Arya? I think it was after, but I might be wrong. Yeah.
The War Council. Yeah. Wait, hang on.
When he sides with Dany in the War Council,
he tells them after the War Council.
That's right. Yeah. But it actually doesn't matter, I guess, because those two things are him trying to balance that. Or he's like, okay, I want to side with Dany. I want to have this relationship, but also want to. I'm getting some afters and befores.
Oh no, people are just messing with us now.
It was during. No, but yeah. So it was that same kind of. I don't know, that same kind of trying to have both ways. Trying to have it both ways.
Yeah.
For
Let's
sure.
see. People in the chat, they're talking about. Actually, I thought this was a really interesting moment. It was. What you doing? What are you doing, Michael?
Oh, my sister's leaving, I think.
Okay.
Are you heading out?
I'm gonna leave.
Okay. This is Matt. He's on
Hi.
the with me.
Hi, Matt.
What's up? Say it. There's a bunch of people watching.
I can't hear
Yeah,
you.
there's a whole bunch of people watching. So.
Okay, I'll go.
Okay. Bye. Thanks for coming over. High five up top.
Do you think
That's a great high five.
Ride or die?
I am going to use that joke. Thank you for
Thanks.
texting me that
Absolutely.
joke. That's great.
Great
Thank you. You too.
Good night, Matt.
Good night. She can't hear me. Whatever.
No, it's good. Okay.
The whole Gendry to Arya thing. I thought that was.
Oh.
I think a lot of people were waiting for that ship to basically sail. They have for a long time. I wrote that in my my article on Watchers a couple years ago. But that's been a fan theory and a ship for a long time that Gendry would get legitimized somehow, and then Arya and him might end up together. And Robert or in Deep Geek and I were on earlier on his streaming. We were talking about this where we expected Gendry to be legitimized and then Arya to sort of turn down the relationship because she even said the line again. She said it's not me thing. It's like at least they're staying true to her character that they've established at this point.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, I think that was definitely something a lot of people discussed and have seen coming in some form or fashion. When we were sitting on the couch watching it, he's kneeling proposing marriage and I was like, oh, she's gonna say not today, and my sister was like, oh no, she's gonna say that's not me. We were taking bets and she went with that's not me. But I mean that felt very true to
Arya's character.
Yeah,
I definitely agree. I got a super chat from Susan Dunkel who says, priceless, the Tormund crying on the Hound's shoulder. Yeah, that was a great comedy beat right there.
Honestly, this might be one of Tormund's best episodes. If this is the last we see of him, which might be possible given that farewell scene, good Lord. I mean, that line about celebrating is vomiting isn't celebrating. Yes, it is. We've all been there, right?
Yes, we have. We've all drank too much. We've all vomited.
You and I specifically.
Yes, we both have. He had a lot of really good moments in this. I thought his face when Jaime got up to go after Brienne was just like the most perfect sad puppy dog face I've ever seen.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think they played that actually pretty well. They could have made his thing for Brienne creepier, I think, and way less savory, but he seems like harmless enough that he's not actually like trying to club her over the head and drag her back to his cave. Like he is like that sad puppy dog, like you said.
Yeah. That was an adorable moment. I got another super chat from Scripts to Clips for Series and Flicks.
All right.
Jon Snow, the worst effing dog owner ever. I think I saw him whisper "F off, Ghost" as he walked away. Yeah, what did you make of that moment?
I was super pissed, but I also I don't know. At this point, my expectations for the direwolves are so low in the show. Like, I guess I wasn't expecting much more. I know that's not how it'll happen in the books. I mean, it just literally won't. Like, the direwolves are so far more important in the books. I was definitely like steaming on the couch.
Yeah, I wasn't super happy about that. For Biz says r/pet the damn dog, one of my favorite subreddits. Yeah, I totally agree. That I am glad that they gave Ghost screen time in the last 2 episodes. They had him do something, and at least they didn't just like have him shuffle off to nowhere. Basically, like he wasn't still off in Winterfell. Essentially, like they sent him out to like an upstate pasture.
Absolutely, yeah. He went to his family in upstate New York, and actually, I mean, I will say I was pissed with the direwolf thing, but the image of like Sam and Gilly and Tormund and Ghost all watching Jon go south.
Oh, that was so sad.
That was a really powerful image because it's so clearly Jon walking away from the person he wants to be.
He's walking away from his friends.
Yeah, and so the Ghost thing really wasn't a fan, but I see what they're doing. Like
and like
worked.
He doesn't actually have to end up north of the wall. They just said they're going. Nothing's happened.
That's true.
Like I watched after the episode, and they showed Jon down in King's Landing outside the walls in the same place. So like they got 2 episodes left to go. the North is not done, as we can
Right.
see. So, yeah, I mean, we could see him again, but yeah, at least they gave him a goodbye.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't like fucking, or I'm sorry, I should stop swearing. It wasn't like Shaggy Dog where he just died and they just plopped his head on a table. They gave him a goodbye.
Yeah, that's true. I think maybe I would have preferred it a little bit if he like symbolically left Ghost with Sansa or something like that. Like,
yeah,
like walking away from Ghost, but not like, okay, Ghost, fuck off to the wilderness or screw off to the wilderness or whatever. Like, Ghost, you are now the dog of Winterfell. Like you're the house dog. I don't know. Yeah, it was a bummer.
Yeah. So I thought we should get into I think probably the meat of the episode. This is sort of the beginning. Actually, this works perfectly. Linda Pizzuto just sent another super chat. She said, Arya told Jon to Gonswood, we don't trust your queen. I wonder if we includes Bran. I guess we're going to go down the King's Road. Do you think that's really why Sansa told Tyrion about Jon's parentage? I thought this was the best part of the episode. It was actually something I didn't want to like. I hated the idea of this. I did not want this conflict. I didn't want the stuff they were setting up in the first 2 episodes. Like they played Jenny's song. That's the song about the 2 people that make it work no matter what's pulling them apart.
Yeah.
Looking at Jon and Dany, and they went the other way. But the way they played it, I thought made a lot of sense. And for all the characters involved, for the established like motivations they have for each other.
Yeah, I agree, really. I mean, I have been vocally not a fan of some character stuff they've done on the show, but I think the character work here is working pretty well. This is an intriguing question, the one from the super chat you just mentioned about why Sansa really told Tyrion about Jon's parentage, that is. Because in the after the episode, which I also watched, which is why I was a couple minutes behind, they did mention that like Sansa was thinking several steps ahead when she told Tyrion that she was anticipating things the way Littlefinger taught her, quote unquote. So I'd like the idea that Bran is if not masterminding, at least pushing his siblings in certain directions. I think
he definitely is. And in this situation, I don't know. Tyrion and Bran had that conversation in the hall before Bran just kind of peeled out with Maester Wolken. Also funny, apparently, that the wheelchair comes from a Targaryen. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that was a funny moment for like where he is mentally. But like,
yes,
I really don't know if he wants anything anymore. Where like what are even his goals? But that's like, I think that's like a whole different discussion. Maybe something for during the week, like a video or something like that.
Yeah.
But like, I thought the emotional moments between Dany and Jon, where they felt the passion for each other, they were, they both kind of drunk, and then they instantly felt how it was pulling them apart, and how no matter what Jon says, it's the same reason that like, I imagine Ned had the same conversation in his head that Dany and Jon did, where he's like, I know Robert. If I tell him about Jon, he won't kill him. He's my friend. And the other part of him was saying the whole time, it doesn't matter if he's your friend. He has to do this. If he doesn't, everything he's built is forfeit. And unfortunately, that's sort of the situation here with Dany and Jon. They're right. It doesn't matter that Jon doesn't want the throne. It's that he'll be used forever as a tool against Dany.
Yeah. I mean, all the character motivations are there, I think. I don't know what else to say other than it was well established, I think, and well put together.
We got another super chat that's kind of along those lines. It's did Tyrion rat out Cersei? Well, no, actually, no, this is a very different question. Did Tyrion rat out Cersei when he mentioned the baby in front of Tyrion? No, in front of Euron. Yeah. We talked about this at the beginning. I do think so. I don't think Tyrion knew he was doing that, though. I don't think he knows that Euron thinks he has Cersei's child.
I think Tyrion would be very surprised to learn that Cersei was smashing it with Euron. I think in the books, Cersei would be far more likely to do that kind of thing. But in the show, Cersei really hasn't. She's basically, it's just Lancel and Jaime in the show. And the Lancel thing is like, that feels different from Euron somehow. Yeah, I think Tyrion would be surprised. I don't think he was intentionally sowing that seed, so to speak.
Yeah. Wait, I thought the Ironborn don't sow.
Oh, well.
Oh, wait, that makes
pretty much
sense.
works. Actually,
that works.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Yep.
B1 Mary says there's over 400 people in chat. Hey, thanks everybody for coming out. I'm glad I could show up. Give the raise the roof, Michael. Slam that MF and like button.
Smash it. Come on.
So people want us to talk about. Actually, this was one of the moments that really got me. And actually, our friend Shakespeare of Thrones, or Lauren, lost her mind at this. She posted on Twitter about it, where it was just like random characters of her breaking down. It was Jaime and Brienne finally getting together, the ship that was promised.
That was, I think that was really well done. Their first scene together, where they're just so bad at like openly acknowledging their feelings. To the point that they don't actually get to say anything by the time they have their first kiss. Like they're just no, we won't do it. Yeah.
And the undressing each other part.
Yeah. And no, I think, and that undressing each other, but it comes back to how they first bonded over him losing his hand, like that how she was kind of like the nursemaid to him for a little while. Not nursemaid, but she took care of him. And that was really the genesis of their friendship.
That's true. And it was almost kind of a callback to their bath scene, because they had done that before, where they had basically presented their naked bodies to each other, but they hadn't done anything. So it was a callback, I think, to that, in having the undressing before the screwing, basically. It was like, in the last 3 episodes, did Brienne get all of her dreams? She's
really, come a long way. She's a knight now. She's still protecting Sansa. She's serving her, liege lady. I will say, I know we have a super chat to get to, but I also very much liked Jaime leaving, if I'm being honest.
Oh, that was heartbreaking.
I found it perfectly heartbreaking. Like, it was exactly what I wanted out of it.
Oh yeah, and Bernie says Brienne came out in her Hugh Hefner fluffy bathrobe. I was like, I know I gotta believe that's actually Gwendolyn Christie's robe.
Yeah, that's
she just threw it on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, in the show, they make her look as unattractive as possible, but she's actually like a fashion model, and she's a high fashion person.
Yeah. Because I mean, she looked stunning in that black robe that she like threw on.
Yeah,
for sure.
That hit me right in the feels, and it was like, just one night it was like, this was the one day of reprieve before it all went back to hell, basically.
Yeah. That was something that I think there's really interesting stories to be told when you have enough characters that some of them can improve themselves and some of them keep coming back to their same toxic habits. I think that's a really interesting dynamic.
So another super chat here from Black-Eyed Lily. She says, if Dany knows her Targ history, which she does, and Tyrion does too, and so does Varys, she's right to believe Jon will be used against her. Yeah, Jon will not push his claim. He's definitely not going to. But actually, like Cersei might.
I mean, yeah, and you look at Maester Aemon fled to the Wall. He was already a Maester, couldn't become a king, but people were still pushing him to be a king. And so he went to the Wall, took the black to avoid that.
Well, there are other reasons too.
Well, maybe there's some videos.
You should watch it anyway. But yeah, you're exactly right. Where he basically, in order to make sure that Egg was okay, as at least a major part of his motivation for doing that, you're right. He had to basically double chain himself in like, I will never do this. And even then, like, he still thought about it. In that chapter, John 8, that I was talking about earlier, he still thought about like becoming King Aemon again and riding down south and like rallying the Targaryens to get revenge for his family, even as old as he was, even as he was blind and frail and unable. Oh, I'm gonna get sad now.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, even on the ship with Sam, a Targaryen alone in the world is a terrible thing. Is that maybe that's a show only line, but the idea that, he's so pissed off that he's an old man now and he can't go to Dany and can't support her. He's still got that Targaryen, he can't escape that. And so, yeah, Absolutely.
It's a curse. It's exactly what Ned never wanted for Jon.
Yep.
And it's all coming out.
Yep. Yeah. Beautiful story. I love it.
Phyllis Wright says wall's no longer an option, and a bunch of emojis. It might be.
I wonder.
I don't think the Night's Watch is gone, is it?
I mean, Sam's still wearing black.
I mean, Ed's dead, but like, there's got to be somebody still there.
Yeah, they'll figure out a new system. I do wonder. Yeah, the Night's Watch. It's not clear, is it? If that's still around.
No. So we've got about 25 minutes left. I think it's about time, Michael, that we got to. We talked about the middle of the episode. Let's talk about the end of it. And
okay, yeah.
The last third. So this is Dany coming south. Surprise Euron attack. Rhaegal is shot to pieces. They take Missandei. Tyrion somehow escapes another fatal situation because
absolutely
the little dude's unkillable. We learn Varys is still swimming.
Absolutely.
Keeps paddling his way around.
He is a Merling. He saved Grey Worm and Tyrion and then turned back into a human. That's what happened.
Hashtag Merling. And then we got to see the army of scorpions that Qyburn has developed. You watched after the episode too. Do you remember what they said about that?
Yeah, I mean, they were talking about how Qyburn basically improved his technology from last season and has been spending his time off screen just like outfitting everyone at the walls of King's Landing, the ships of the Iron Fleet, with these new and improved, the Mark II scorpions, which are, I guess, more accurate. And, I can totally imagine that Euron has just been practicing with the scorpions like all day because he would love that shit. He would absolutely love it.
Yeah, and they were accurate and they were firing pretty fast with pretty good distance and heat on them. They were destroying ships. It's like, oh no, Westeros has now become like a missile-based military thing. So like everything's going to hell. Rhaegal's dead. So actually, that was something I was wondering how they were going to deal with because Dany, while she looked at Rhaegal flying away, there was a look on her face where I think in the back of her head she was realizing that Jon has a dragon too. Dance of the Dragon situation. So they kind of they took that plot and there will be no battle over the God's Eye. There'll be nothing like that. There's only Drogon left. That was kind of a road not taken, I guess. I mean, I've always thought that in the books, Euron would be somehow responsible for one of Dany's dragons being gone. So I think it's interesting that in the show, he's responsible for it. It almost feels like a bullet point, maybe, that George was like, Euron, removes one of Dany's dragons from the story. And the writers were like, okay, how can we pop that in? I did enjoy the hand-to-hand combat outside the walls of King's Landing. Oh my god.
With Qyburn and because they're both the hands of the queen.
Some people are asking for the second sons. They're asking for a little Dario in their lives.
Was he in the next time on? I was looking for him.
No, I didn't see him.
Okay.
I don't, honestly, you guys, I do not consume any leaks. I don't know any of them. I don't know any of the spoilers. So I don't know if he's coming or not, but like, I want Blue Dario.
Yes. Please give me Blue Dario. Also, while I'm doing puns, my sister had texted me, you could call Rhaegal a ride or die kind of guy. Hey,
it really is your sister.
Yep, absolutely. Family resemblance.
Got a super chat here from B1 Mary. Thank you very much, B1 Mary. Flipping Sansa can't keep a secret. Someone in chat said that Cersei had a bunch of new guards, zombie guards. Anyone else know? I didn't notice that. Is that true?
I have no idea. That's not what I noted.
Is there more than one zombie guard up there?
All I saw was the other Kingsguard with their like spiky shredder helmets from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but it's certainly possible, I guess. They didn't make a big deal out of it, but that doesn't mean they won't in the future.
I would have to go back and check their eyes because Gregor's got the weird red eye thing going. Kind of the opposite of the cold whites. I mean, Qyburn did it once. Presumably, he knows how to do it again, I guess.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I very much liked that very dry line from him where Tyrion was like, I don't want to hear the sound of children burning. And Qyburn's like, yeah, I don't like that sound either.
Oh, it's terrible. Every time I hear it. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's such an inconvenience when I have to burn children.
And to her other question about how Sansa can't keep a secret, that I think that was Jon's choice. you'd never let that secret out unless you know it's going to be told. So by telling anybody, he knows it's going to get out. That was his choice. That was Bran's choice he was putting to him.
Yeah, I think that's true. The responsibility does come back to John on this one, I think. Because
I'm sorry, I missed 2 from Tyler Lindsay. He's given $1 each, no message for each. Just wanted to say thanks, Tyler.
Shout out, Tyler. No, yeah, that John. We've seen him time and again do this thing where he will say something and do the like honorable and stupid thing and see the consequences of it play out. And so he had, he knows in his head like what's going to happen if he tells the truth, just like he did in the dragon pit at the end of last season, or when he followed his heart and let the wildling south of the wall. Like he's been in this situation before, and he's choosing to make the same mistake, just like Jamie, which I think is kind of a fun little parallel. You could also argue Arya is doing the same thing by continuing to run away.
Yeah.
And avoiding grappling with her feelings.
Yeah. And then I would say probably maybe like the second or third centerpiece of the episode was the discussion that Tyrion and Varys had. That was a hard discussion that carried on for multiple scenes. Varys is very much on the side of he's Team Jon, I would say.
Yeah.
Tyrion's making good arguments still. But like it feels like when you look at his face that Dinklage is playing it, that he's super conflicted, and he's drinking the whole time. So yes, he is. Yeah,
I mean, I think that the Tyrion and Varys scene, you said it perfectly. Like it's the centerpiece of the episode because it's the main ideological conflicts of the episode put into words with our characters. It's a lot of the actors were calling this episode Shakespearean before it aired, and I think the Tyrion and Varys scenes are the most Shakespearean scenes. It's these scenes where we get people talking about Hamlet and is he really crazy? It's these kind of like just two people who, especially with 70 hours of television to back up their characters, we know them so well that everything they say carries so much weight.
For sure. Amy in the chat points out they did it in the throne room too.
Yeah, right.
It was the perfect setting for that. I mean, they did it before in the boat, and they talked before, like back at Winterfell certain times. But this time, the conversation has gone from the back room to the throne room. It's here.
Yep. That's a great point. Yeah. And I very much like the way that Tyrion is clinging to the sort of romantic ideas of like, well, no, I can believe in this person, they can be good, and Varys is the cynical one, because I think that's it's almost something that we've seen them swap back and forth a few times. I think you look back at the beginning of season 5 when Tyrion was drinking himself to death, and Varys was like, no, you can believe in Daenerys, like you can find this person who inspires you. And now they've completely swapped. Like Tyrion's back to drinking himself to death, but Tyrion's like, no, I believe in Daenerys, and Varys is like, cut the cord, bro. Like this is fucking weird. I'm out of here.
But then Tyrion just sort of throws it out on the line, because they do talk Dany out of just straight up going over and roasting King's Landing to start with. They get her to make this another conversation with Cersei, a parlay basically. The explanation was that if Dany has to do this horrible thing, she at least wants people to know it's because Cersei would not save them. Which, I mean, fair. I mean, it's kind of like putting what's the term? Putting lipstick on a bulldog at that point. Like I can see the explanation there. And then they have the conversation, and I thought the Qyburn Tyrion thing was really good.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be straight up like Aragorn in the mouth of Sauron.
Yes.
That's what I was thinking. He's dressed like him too from the movie.
Absolutely.
But no, Qyburn comes out and showed no hint of the conflict that he showed earlier in the season. He was like, he was totally ride or die for Cersei right there, even though we know he's having problems with her.
Yeah, 100%. Because you see, as soon as he he gives her the news that the wall has fallen in the first episode, and he's looking very uncertain about her. But now there's none of that, and you get Tyrion on the other hand being super vulnerable and basically going like give me a hand here, guy. Like I'm trying to save you, and Qyburn's like, nope, my hands are tied. Sorry. Yeah.
Well, he's also not free to do what he wants because there's like 15,000 scorpions behind him and a bunch of arrows. He betrays Cersei. She's made it that whole display was not just for Dany. It was for everybody that's thinking about leaving her side, including Qyburn. It's like everybody's got a gun to the back of their head from Cersei.
That's a great point. Yeah. I mean, I think, it absolutely brings home, I think, that Cersei really is the final villain of the season. That as much as the Night King was an existential threat, Cersei and anyone like Cersei, like anyone who could emulate her, is going to be a continuing threat to mankind, even if you defeat like the magical existential threat from the north. Which I to me, that's a really interesting story. I don't know.
Yeah. And then I think we get to, I think, the most heartbreaking part of the episode, the death of Missandei, and her screaming the word Dracarys for Dany to hear her.
Yeah.
That was, I'll be honest, Missandei is not a character in past seasons that I ever really like connected with, where what she was doing just sort of seemed like secondary to me. And it wasn't, I don't know, but in this episode, as soon as she was taken, something changed. And just I think it was actually down in the crypts when she stood up for Dany, to Tyrion and Sansa.
Yep.
When they were back talking her, and the relationship they developed with Grey Worm, and like that she might actually go back to Noth, and all of that when Gregor cut off her head and she screamed, that really got me in the feels in a way that I did not think I would care about her death that much.
Yeah, that was. I mean, I'll confess, I have been a big fan of the Grey Worm Missandei romance. I know some people don't like that, and I get why. But I've always liked that there was kind of a wholesome romance on the show, just something where two people like really connected and just wanted to hang out together all the time. So I think it's heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking, that she is the casualty here. There is also, I think, a very we shouldn't leave it unsaid that it's a little messed up that one of the very few characters of color on the show was executed to make the white characters feel bad.
Yeah, not great.
I think they've written themselves into. I don't know how they could have done this differently because they've written themselves to that place. But
Carl Karstock makes a great point. He said she died back in chains after being free with Dany. That was the saddest part. Yeah, that's true. Cersei called that out when she mocked her by saying "breaker of chains."
Yeah.
But like that, I think that moment of Missandei yelling Dracarys was like just like a real primal moment from her that we haven't really felt, where it was something deep in her that she's that side of her that she's really held back because of the way she was abused and treated.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's she was unchained, even though she was chained.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's a thinker.
That is a thinker. So we got about 10 minutes left, you guys. Well, maybe a little bit more because Michael was.
Yeah.
So why don't you, if you guys have questions we haven't got to or things we haven't covered, type in the chat. You can tag me, or you can tag Michael at JoeMagician at BookshelfStud, and we'll just try and roll through them because I'm sure there were parts we did not talk about.
Yeah, 100%. I did have a kind of a question for you though. Like, do you think? I mean, Cersei is clearly baiting Dany here into attacking King's Landing. Do you think Cersei has an exit strategy, or do you think she's planning to just go down with the ship?
I think she's planning on 10,000 scorpions being enough to to stop this.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
She's also got the Golden Company. They were not seen anywhere, so I imagine they're going to come in at some point. That's not going to be great.
Yeah, that's true. They were in the trailer. So,
and Cersei basically said that she does not care about the people burning alive. So, if Dany actually does that, but then dies in the process, that's a win for Cersei.
Absolutely. Oh, hey, there we go. We got some questions in the chat.
Grab one.
Well, Bernie's asking the important questions, which is which scene can we expect me to MS Paint? It's gonna be. Probably Tormund, covering himself in wine. Just like dumping his horn full of wine over himself. So thank you, Bernie.
Warrior Girl 113 says, Bronn, yeah, we skipped that part.
Bronn.
Between Bronn and Tyrion. I actually didn't care for that much.
I'm glad you said that. I don't know what's going on with that yet.
It was like, it felt like a last minute thing. Like they didn't know what they were going to do with it.
Yep. The stakes, I don't know. I didn't believe the stakes in that scene. I never believed he was going to kill Jaime or Tyrion in that scene.
And him with Highgarden. I mean, like Tyrion was obviously lying.
Right. It's all so. It reminds me very much of the It's Always Sunny episode where Frank leaves the bar and they're trying to figure out who Frank's heir is, and Mac keeps going back and forth and going, like, he tells each side, he's like, I'm playing both sides, that way I come out on top. And then he goes to the other side and he goes, I'm playing both sides, that's why I'm going to come out on top.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Feels like Bronn's doing that.
Let's see here from Abraham. Not going to get that one. Abraham G. What was the look on Euron's face at the end of the next on? I've thought for a while that he was going to try and sack Old Town. That's probably not going to happen now. I don't think they have the time for it. So I'm imagining that he's going to ask about Tyrion knowing about her baby.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that would make sense. Sure. I could see that. There's not much else that would make him lose his cool.
Yeah, another one here from Susan Dunkel. Did you like this episode more? I love the first 30 minutes and was into the rest of it. I would say if I had to rank... Actually, let's just do this. Let's rank the season so far. 4 episodes. I would say it went episode 2, episode 4, episode 3, episode 1 for me.
Dude, I'm 100% with you. This was... I felt very much like I felt watching episode 2 in this one. Although there were... Episode 2 is so pleasant that it's hard not to like that most.
Yeah, that was just wonderful.
Yeah,
and I did really like episode 3, so I don't want that to sound like I thought it was terrible. I thought it was really good. It's just that I think it's because I don't like battle stuff as much. Like I like the interpersonal drama more, so it appeals to me more. I think they were both equally good in like an objective sense, but like preference wise.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Let's grab another one from Maester Mary. Does Cersei die the next episode? Good question. I don't know. I was listening actually to The Ringer earlier, and Mallory Rubin for some reason thinks that she's gonna die by episode 5. I could see it. Because she's again like the Night King. She's not really the final boss. The final boss is Jon and Dany and what they're gonna do.
You know, I think that's true. Yeah, that if Cersei does die next episode, then I feel like Jon and Dany, that conflict will have to be the central thing. Otherwise, the final episode is just an hour and a half of people like slapping each other on the back.
Which would be great. I love that in this episode, but yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Another Joe. Do you think Cersei has been working on Wildfire again? Absolutely. I think that's coming up. I think she's gone full Aerys. I think it's underneath the whole city. I think she's daring Dany to try Drogon just because it will light up everything.
Definitely. Yeah. I absolutely believe that.
You want to grab a question from the chat?
Let's see. Well, you know, we haven't talked about Arya leaving with the Hound much at all, and people.
Oh, true. What'd you think about that?
Well, you know, hey, there we go. What do you think will happen with Arya and the Hound? Is the question from Bar Itzhak. I like their dynamic a lot. I think that was kind of nice, bringing them back together. I'm a little bummed that Arya isn't staying in Winterfell to be with Sansa and to like be with her family. But I see what they're doing, and I think it'll be interesting to have Arya and the Hound trying to enter King's Landing, especially if Dany is going to try and nuke King's Landing.
Yeah, and it seems like Arya has decided to, much like she did with the Night King, she is not going to wait for the other people to tell her what to do. She has her own plan in mind.
Yeah, for sure.
The hero of Winterfell may be the hero of King's Landing too.
Right. I think that was a really fun... her reluctance to accept the mantle of the hero of Winterfell, I think, is the reason why she's leaving. And that's entirely consistent with Arya. I think she's not really comfortable with attention, because for a lot of her life, even before even before the start of the books, I think attention for her meant that she was in trouble or that, she wasn't doing something right. So yeah, her avoiding attention is a survival tactic, but it's also like a fundamental part of her. There is a question from Rachel Buckley in the chat as well, which I hope we can fit in. Give me hope here. What can book readers take from the show?
Oh. Okay.
Ooh.
So I think the conflict between Danny and John is absolutely going to end up on the page, not in like word for word, but we've already been set up that's going to happen with Fagon and Danny. It's only going to be heightened more with John and Danny. I actually think Fagon's a fake out. Like, I don't think he's actually going to make a whole Dance of the Dragons thing. That's something that whenever I hear it, it seems wrong to me. He is the fake dragon. He's the cloth dragon on the pole. He'll never get there. That it's setting up John and Danny and how those claims will interact and how they will interact as people. I think that's going to end up definitely there. Yeah,
I agree. The Fagon thing, I think the way that'll play out for Danny is that Danny will think she avoided having to deal with, like, someone else will take him out. I kind of think it'll be Cersei or something, but even if it is Danny nuking King's Landing, she'll be like, oh, great, I dealt with the Mummer's dragon. Like, I dealt with the fake dragon. That's perfect. And then John shows up and she's like, oh shit. And like, this is all going south as soon as she hears about his parentage.
I agree.
Yeah. But from the books in this episode, I mean, the John Danny thing, like you said, I do think we will get Jaime and Brienne potentially consummating somehow. Same with Arya and Gendry. That, like you said, that relationship in the books is people have predicted it being very similar to this.
I'd say the other thing that's very likely to happen is that Arya has been set up for this role for quite a long time in the books. Like, you could tell Dan and Dave for quite a long time sort of didn't really know what George was doing with her. Like, they put her through the assassin Hogwarts and they put her through all these journeys, but it didn't really feel like they knew where she was going. I think George has a much better idea, and that's why he's putting her through it. And it's probably going to be something like this, where as the end game of the books come about, that she is the dagger in the dark and the night wolf and, you know, cat of the canals and all these people running around and doing what needs to be done behind the scenes while noble John is unable to, or Sansa from her political position, or Bran from whatever he's doing with the trees can't do. She's the sword arm of the Starks. And I think even if there is no Night King, and even if that kind of thing doesn't happen, I think the general role is going to be correct, along with her motivations and how she feels about people.
Yeah, I agree. I do kind of think Cersei is going to be more endgame than people think. I don't know if she'll be this late in the story, but I don't agree with the folks who think she'll be dead in the Winds of Winter. I think we are going to see the Cersei and Jaime relationship play out deep into the story, balls deep into the story.
I got another super chat here from Veronica. Thanks again, Veronica. Thank you for the live stream review. Yeah, that's basically what this is. We're basically reviewing the episode. Let's grab a couple more. We got like 5-10 minutes. Gotta get out. We gotta go be mods.
Oh God, I haven't even looked at it yet.
I am scared to look at our Slack. There's ones earlier I didn't get to.
For sure, yeah.
Oh, Clegane Bowl.
Well, yeah, Clegane Bowl confirmed, I think.
I don't know. I talked with Robert about this, and I don't actually think that it will be a fight. I think that it's going to be a situation where Sandor is going to mercy kill him, but I don't think it's going to be like straight up Clegane Bowl like in the Hands Tourney, where they actually did fight already.
Sure. Yep. And I think, I mean, that's something that Chloe Lizen Arbor, she wrote a great post about that was that was the best of, I think that was one of the best of awards on the subreddit, or at least was a nominee.
Right. She did. That's where the idea came from. Her awesome essay.
That's right. Yeah, most things are generated by these essays that like percolate up in our brains, and we're like, oh yes, we thought of that all by ourselves. No. Actually, I was thinking a lot. Speaking of essays, about Eliana's Shakespearean tragedy essay about Daenerys this episode, because it doesn't get any more Shakespearean and tragic.
That's true. We got probably about one more left here, but luckily Maester Mary came through with it. A super chat saying favorite moment and least favorite moment. Go. So why don't you go least favorite?
Least favorite moment. It might have been the bronze scene. LeBron James. I wasn't into that. I wasn't into that. I don't see where they're going with it. I don't buy that Braun is somehow responsible for some sort of major plot point. That was my least favorite.
I'm torn on this one because structurally and like how it was written, I don't like the Braun scene, but I also don't like John sending away Ghost. But what brings me back on that one is because it's such a powerful image for John that he's literally leaving Winterfell and Castle Black and the Night's Watch and the direwolves and the old gods behind him. And it's such a powerful sequence to think about it that way that I hate that it happened, that he did leave Ghost behind, but it's for such a good metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
For what he's literally doing, that I can't make it that. I think I'm just going to go with Braun just because it's easier.
Yeah, right. Now, as for
complicated,
as for favorite scenes, honestly, that's hard because there were so many good ones. I'm coming back to Tyrion and Varys's throne room conversations, particular, because I think that's the one that like cuts the deepest. The dialogue was pretty strong there and was really, again, like cutting to some stuff that the whole series has been about. It felt very important, like the core of the story. So yeah, I think I might go with that. I feel like there's other scenes that maybe even hit me harder, but that one just keeps coming back to my brain.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with my favorite scene. It is a really tough one. I did really love quite a lot about this episode. I know other people didn't. That's how it goes. I would say I really loved the Jaime and Brienne finally hooking up scene, but I would say my favorite was actually him leaving, because it's not a happy scene, but I think it was so well acted. I think it was so well set up. The lines they gave them were perfect. It tugged at the heartstrings in just the right way, and it was just like, Jaime, don't do it. Don't do this, Jaime. You're so self-destructive. This is like you charging into Drogon's mouth again. You're doing it again, and you're begging him not to, and so's Brienne. And I think that was the best scene in the episode to me.
Yeah, that was so affecting and so tragic, just truly tragic. On a fundamental
level. What Jaime would do, and you wish he would. He's he's a terrible person. It's like, I know you are, Jaime, but like, Brienne can make you better, and he doesn't want to be better.
For sure.
I can't wait to see what Lauren or Shakespeare Throne writes about this.
Yeah, same. All the actors kept saying Shakespearean. Got to agree with them on that. I'm really curious to see what the subreddit /r/ASOIAF has to say about this episode.
I imagine it is currently burning like King's Landing will be next episode. Because good Lord. Oh, we got almost 500 in chat. We're about to head out though. I'm gonna take a look on YouTube, and we're gonna see who else is currently streaming. So you guys don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. That kind of thing. Let's see here. Alt Shift X, he's currently rolling. He's got 50,000 people watching. Of course he does. I think Kyle and Gemma are streaming somewhere. I think, I don't know which channel that on. If any of you guys have the links for your favorite streamer that's on right now, drop it in the chat so people can go find them. I know, God, who else? It doesn't look like there's that many people streaming on my subscriptions. I think I'm doing it wrong. Smoke Screen's up. Yeah, mods, if you guys can drop links if you have them. What's his name? Phil the Issues guy usually is going on at the same time. It might be a little late. Rawrist is probably going on too. I don't know. Anybody, any of the mods, any of the links you want, throw them in the chat. You guys go have a good night. Me and Michael are gonna go stand on the wall and swing hammers at people, because
that's right.
This is the life of the Song of Ice and Fire mod. Before we head out, Michael, do you want to plug anything?
Yes, absolutely. Please come listen to the Maester Monthly YouTube channel, because we have been doing an episode talking about each episode of the season thus far, and specifically talking about what people on Reddit have been saying, which has been pretty interesting, actually. The discourse over episode 3 in particular, I really recommend you check out that one for a good balanced take on a very divisive episode. And of course, you can always find my blog at offmichaelsbookshelf.wordpress.com.
And you were recently on a radio show, weren't you?
That's right. I was on a radio show representing Maester Monthly. I was on. Oh man, I'm on the spot. I don't remember the call sign. But it's a radio show in Toronto. But it's a podcast that they do with the host Meredith Geddes and her co-host. And yeah, they're talking about each episode as well. So you can go check out Meredith Geddes on Twitter, and that'll have all the links.
And of course, Michael on Twitter. He posts lots of MS Paints and Darios.
Lots of Darios. Yeah, come follow me at BookshelfStud.
Yep. And obviously, you can find me as well on the Maester Monthly podcast. I haven't been on the last few. I've been sort of busy doing this stuff. I'm going to try and be on this one just because I thought it was great. What was the Eamon show you're talking about that I did? I'll drop a link in the chat for that. It's a video I made called Eamon the Dreamer, where I essentially declared my love for him as a character.
Beautiful.
I'm just going to grab that real fast. It was talking about his role in the Fall of the Targaryens. Let me just get that for you. Yeah, I'm planning on being on Maester Monthly this week. I'm going to try and make sure I make time for it. I'll be putting up videos throughout the week, maybe like a theory video or two, maybe a review, because I have more coherent thoughts about this than I did previous ones.
Absolutely. I can tell you right now, my written review will probably be up tomorrow morning, if not tomorrow afternoon. And yeah, that should be fun. I always do a good MS Paint for that too. So
there you go. I'm also going to be writing for Watchers on the Wall. We're doing a fandom road thing where it's like how you got to the fandom, like your biography within it. So I'm going to be putting that up probably sometime this week. I'm not really sure when it will go up. I'm going to finish it this week at least. It will be up by the end of the season. I'm going to try and get another article up for them. I have a lot of thoughts about this episode, so I'll probably be able to do that. And earlier today, I was on Robert or Indie Geek. I can't say his name. Deep Geek stream. We got up to 4.2 thousand people watching at the same time, which is really insane. But you can go check the replay. I think we actually write about quite a lot in this episode, which felt good. And recent videos, I put out the one about is the Night King dead? Seems like he probably is based on this, but maybe there's still 2 episodes, so who knows? Jenny's song video, and Killing of a Ranger 2. I don't know if you guys didn't catch it. You can check that out too. It's available on YouTube channel. All right, go check out all those other people. Bernie and Mary dropped in links. I'll see you all later.